Hello there. Welcome to the Cold Brew Chronicles. This is the first of a series that's going to be happening for the next couple weeks, if not months, because evidently, summer is looming. Iced coffee season is looming, and with that comes generally the increased production of cold brew both in cafes and also at home. Cold brew is delicious, it is easy to make, and you can do a lot of things with it. A lot of the recipes I've made on this channel use cold brew as a base. It's like a fantastic concentrate that you can put into most beverages to make really tasty coffee cocktails. All of that aside, as I mentioned before, there are many ways to brew cold brew, and so I want to find this summer the best way to brew cold brew. So we're going to be evaluating all sorts of different cold brew methods. There are 3 things we're going to be looking for. Number 1, simply, does the method make a good cup of coffee? Does it taste good? Does it have a good texture? Just, is it nice? We should be ranking all things by that, by the way, just on a scale of like not nice to nice, how nice is it? Second off, we're gonna be looking at the function of the brewer. So is it easy to use? Is it intuitive? Is it easy to clean? Does it work well? And that's gonna be the second thing. And then third, we're gonna be looking at price. So is it expensive? Is it not expensive? And if it is expensive, maybe that's okay because it functions to a level that justifies the price. So those are gonna be our 3 factors. I have a cold brewer today that we're gonna start off with. I'm very excited. Let's just jump into this. So I am maybe starting us off with something that is a little bit interesting. Now, we have looked at in the past couple of years a good variety of cold brewers and coffee brewers that advertise themselves as being instant. No matter what, this one is literally an instant coffee brewer because it's made by Instant Pot. So by calling this instant coffee, you're not lying. You're just being a little selective with the truth, I think. First thing we can talk about is price. This comes in at retail at about $150, which frankly, pretty expensive for a cold brewer. Now, I happen to find this on sale. It seems to be on sale most places, so I got this for $50. However, just keep in mind that the regular MSRP is $150. And there's not very much that tells you about it on the box. Really, we're leaning into the fact that this is instant coffee. They say you can brew true cold brew in under 20 minutes, which, if true, very exciting, but we'll find out if it's true or not. Besides that, we have some kind of proprietary brewing technology that they've placed on the front. We have Flash Extract TM. Very exciting. You can customize the brew strength to taste. You can brew, serve, and store in the same glass carafe. There's not much else, otherwise around this box. It's pretty standard fare as far as packaging goes. It doesn't really tell you how the coffee is brewed beyond the fact that they're using flash extraction, quote unquote. So let's break into this. Let's get the brewer out, and I guess we just need to brew some coffee. Now, this brewer breaks into 4 main components. You have the base here, which when plugged in has a little screen that turns on. You have the glass carafe here, which is a nice sturdy glass. If you unscrew the top, this is your little container that you will put your beans in, ground, of course, to steep your cold brew. Slots easy in there, very easy to remove once you're done brewing. You also get a scoop, because you always get a scoop, and the scoop is my favorite part. This all seems to assemble pretty simply like this. You plug it in, and then you're good to go. Real fast, let us review our instruction booklet before we get started, rather than after, which is sometimes what I do, and not advised, I would say. To start us off with our first paragraph, it says, traditional cold brewing takes up to 24 hours. The Instant Cold Brewer's Flash Extract technology delivers delicious, never heated cafe-quality cold brew or iced tea in under 30 minutes. To be noted, this is multi-use. You can use this for iced tea if you'd like as well. Brewing instructions, we recommend using medium ground coffee and a 14:1 water to coffee ratio. Depending on the size of the grind, the brew basket can hold up to 70 grams of coffee. Adjust coffee to water ratio as well grind consistency to taste. I think that's a sentence. Scoop measurements are for the included scoop. Okay, all right, so this is nice actually. In their instructions, they give a couple different ways to measure your ratio. They give the scoops. So if you're someone who wants to go by the scoop, you have this. They also give teaspoons and tablespoon measurements. They also give gram measurements as well. So pick which one you want. They are probably not all perfectly equivalent, but it's nice that they gave direction to folks either way. How to brew cold brew. Plug in and turn on Instant Cold Brewer. Fill glass pitcher with water. Place glass pitcher on power base, fill brew basket with coffee grounds or tea leaves. Brewing time, start brewing. When timer reaches 0, brewing is complete. Remove lid, remove brewing basket, serve, enjoy. Seems pretty standard. Let's just get started. I have read 2 pages of the instruction manual, which I think makes me thoroughly qualified to start brewing. As all of you have probably seen, there's not any real clear moving parts right now, and so you might be asking, how are we going to brew or quickly brew any sort of coffee? The answer comes when you look inside this brew basket here. Let me see if I think I can unscrew it. Okay, there we go. These two pieces come apart. This right here is a little component that spins really, really quickly. And this is gonna cause agitation in the brew. My guess is there is some sort of magnet or something in this brew base here that is gonna cause this to spin and swirl the coffee really, really quickly once we start brewing. We've seen this before. This is kind of like force extraction through agitation, which will cause some extraction. Is it enough to be a tasty cup of coffee? That has yet to be seen, but that's how we're brewing. Put that back on there. Suppose we need some coffee. I will also note real fast that we have measurements on the side of here, so you can brew different amounts of coffee. I think honestly, for the sake of our first go, I think we'll just go with the maximum amount, 32 ounces of coffee. We're gonna go right there. Let me refer to their recommended ratio. We need 67 grams of coffee. I can do that. I'm gonna be using my own coffee today. This is Morgan Drinks This Coffee. Which I'm still very proud of name-wise, by the way. This is a coffee that is a blend of natural and washed Ethiopian coffee. So it has some really robust, nice flavors to it. It also has some nice tropicality, it has some florality. It's just it's kind of the best of both worlds when it comes to washed and natural coffees. I've also used this before for cold brew. It yields a very nice cup, so I have high hopes today. Generally, if you put a really nice input of coffee into your cold brew, what you're gonna result in is usually gonna be pretty good as well. High quality ingredients, high quality yield, 67 grams. I have my grinder on a nice kind of medium to coarse setting. That would generally be appropriate for cold brew. Maybe it's a little bit on the finer side, but we'll see. We can adjust if need be. All right, so it's probably pretty difficult for you all to see this little LED screen that is just turned on here. Very simple though. We have a little marker that says minutes as well as 2 number spots above it. And then we have a plus or a minus symbol, so we can toggle either way. All right, the first thing it wants us to do is to fill our pitcher with water. Now we insert our brew basket. However, I do suppose coffee should probably go into it first. This feels dangerous. I'm gonna do this over the sink. Less dangerous than I was expecting. We're aiming for minimal spills today. All right, now I suppose before I insert my brew basket, I do wanna check how long they want me to brew for. So we are going for the maximum serving, 32 ounces of water, 67 grams of coffee. We are supposed to do this for 20 minutes. So I suppose we start this, and I'll see you back in 20 minutes. Doesn't instruct me to, but there's a part of me that wonders if I should agitate this and soak the grounds entirely before starting this, because what has happened is water has soaked probably a majority of the grounds right now, but it has kind of pushed that top layer up above the water surface, so there's just dry coffee sitting in here. You know what, I'm gonna stir it. We're gonna divert a little bit from instructions here. Just fully saturate our coffee. And you can already see a little bit of stuff start to happen. Okay, fully saturated. Put our lid on. Then we tap up to 20 and press go. And wait, I suppose. You can definitely hear the movement in there when that bottom agitator in the brew basket starts to spin. It seems to just be going in pulses right now. Kind of expected it to be constant. All right, well, even though this has felt like solid 10 minutes, it has only been 1 minute since I started it. So now, truly, I will see you in what is now 19 minutes. Bye everyone. Enjoy the brewer. I'm just sneaking in to check how long we have left, because it feels like it's been ages, but it's been 15 minutes, we have 5 minutes left. I'll see you very soon. Although I suppose I could just get my cup and my ice ready. I'm team as much ice as possible in my ice drinks. I'm very curious how this is gonna turn out, both in in texture and also in flavor. It's looking a little bit lighter than I would want from a cold brew, but maybe it's sippable, maybe it's enjoyable. Either way, I'm in some desperate need for coffee right now, so this will be exciting. So as far as instructions go, we unscrew this, we take out the brew basket, so we're done with the coffee, and then we serve. I will say the brew basket has a nice little handle here, so you don't have to worry about dirtying your hands or anything of the like. I very carefully make the leap to the sink. Okay, well, we have coffee smells happening. Give it a little stir and let's enjoy. Now, it looks to be a little bit of a murky cup of coffee. Let's taste though. Oh, we got fines in there. Now, the texture of cold brew usually at home exists somewhere between the range of iced coffee and like a French press coffee. You usually get a little bit of a bite to it. It's not usually a really, really clean cup unless you're like double or triple filtering it. But this one's got a little bit of a chew to it. Now, the actual flavor of what we have here in the cup is actually pretty nice. You can taste a lot of complexity in the coffee, so you get a lot of that kind of lighter range of like the florals that are usually very prevalent in the blend that I'm using. You also get like a nice balance. It's not too bitter, it's not too acidic, it's very sippable, which I use that word a lot, and I genuinely mean it, because it's like, sans the texture that we have going on in here, I could sip through most of this pretty quickly. The tactile is just not ideal though. Kind of coats your mouth. I think if you put this through like one double strain of like a coffee filter or a cheesecloth, I think that would clear it up, but directly out of carafe, it's not an ideal tactile experience. One thing that is really nice about this is that this is a built-in just storage device. So you can just stick this in your fridge and then you have cold brew whenever you want it. We're using the word cold brew a little bit loosely because, as we've already talked about, this isn't like a true cold brew, but it's like a simulated, like forced extraction that has happened in cold water. And I think the length of this extraction is a bit longer than most other like rapid cold brewers I've ever had. A full 20 minutes clearly does something to the coffee. It definitely adds, I think, a lot of flavor that's missing from some of the other fast cold brewers that we've tested in the past. And again, because you are in full control of the timing of this brewer, you can adjust it more or less as you prefer. So if you wanted to allow this to brew for more than 20 minutes, you do have that option. A lot of these kind of rapid, pre-programmed instant cold brewers will just have like one setting where you're pressing start and then that is the end of any control you have. But this one, you can play around with a good amount of variables. So thinking back to our kind of three things that we're looking at, we have price. Again, this is $150. That is quite expensive. We're looking at the actual cup itself, and the cup, flavor-wise, pretty decent. I think you lose a lot on the tactile side. That's something you need to take into consideration. You'll have to do some fidgeting if you want to like do a coarser grind. I think you'll have to definitely adjust the time on this. So there might be some wiggle room there. And then we also have the function of this brewer. Frankly, I find this to be a pretty functional brewer. The build itself feels really solid. The fact that it's a glass carafe, the fact that everything feels very intentional and fits together, and just like the finish on even the plastic components feel good is very nice. Those seem like obvious things, but like you'd be surprised how often just the build itself doesn't feel good. The touchscreen interface that you have on here is very easy to use. It is not overcomplicated. You have a screen that tells you your time, you have up or down to adjust the time, and you have start, and that's it. Frankly, that's all you need. I like the fact that you can easily store this in the fridge. I like the fact that the brew basket is easily removable. Frankly, I think the build on this is pretty decent. Now, do I think it's worth $150? No, I would say it's probably worth more, $50, which is what I paid for it on a sale price. And I guess that leaves us with our final review of this cold brewer. Now, with this being the first one of the series, we don't really have a metric to like scale it against yet, but on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give this a 6. A lot of those points off are for the fact that this is not like a true cold brew experience. It's more of like a quick iced coffee, I would say. It's not the same flavor profile as cold brew. It's not necessarily the same texture as cold brew, but if you're okay with that, the build itself and everything else around it seems pretty solid. So we're gonna go with a 6 out of 10 for now. At the end of this series, once we have looked through the many cold brewers that I have right now, we'll go back, we'll reevaluate, and we'll come up with the best way to brew cold brew. This is the first installment. We're just getting started. It only gets more caffeinated from here. But yes, this was my review of the Instant Cold Brewer. I hope you all had fun. I had a good time. I'm excited for the Cold Brew Chronicles to kick off. And until then, I'm gonna go sip a little bit more on this cup of coffee I've brewed myself. So my name is Morgan Eckroth. Ooh, that's not how I do this. I have not nailed my ending in like weeks. I am Morgan Drinks Coffee. You can find me here on YouTube once a week, plus YouTube Shorts. Additionally, you can find me on TikTok or Instagram almost every single day. I hope you all had a good time. Hope you learned something. I'll see you soon. I'm gonna go drink this. Have a good day. Goodbye.